So here we are on the People tab inside of Webiva. You notice that when you click on the tab, the search field is focused, which makes it very easy to just click on the People tab and type in someone you want to search for, Santana, and they will pop up and we'll see all the Santana fairs who we've imported in the system. I imported a whole bunch of fake accounts so that there's at least something we can play around with. So some of the things you can do from inside here is you can tag people. So we can just highlight the people we want to tag and add a tag onto them. So test list, for example. And we can add an additional tag, say exception, and that'll mark those people. We can also modify the user level by quick editing. So we can set the user level of these people very quickly. User level is sort of like a lead grading for dummies. It sets a sort of a value assigned to each user who comes in. So when you import a user, they are automatically set to the level 1. If they respond by clicking on an email or an email blast that you send them, they'll get automatically modified to 2. If they actually take an action and subscribe, they'll update to 3. If they fill out a lead form, they'll update to 4. Finally, if they actually take some sort of conversion action on your site, they'll automatically update to 5. Now we've also made it so you can manually set these levels. So if you're importing a whole bunch of users, you may want to set these levels to actually reflect the status of these individual users. We can also modify the classes and the origin of these users, as well as generate what's known as a VIP code. So let's modify these to level 3. To add in a user, all we got to do is click on this Add a User tab, and the only actual piece of information that we generally need is an email. Everything else is optional. There's a whole bunch of additional information. Not every user who gets added in necessarily has to be a registered user. They could just be someone who you imported, an email address you want to send to, or someone who signed up via a email list. So the People tab sort of acts as a centralized location for all the email addresses, all the contacts that you get in via your website. So we've got some additional details we can fill in, as well as some tracking information. So the VIP number, so this is a unique number that's unique to each user. You have to generate it specifically for these users, or you can generate it on import. The idea is that it's kind of a separate login number that you can send to users, and what they can do is enter that number and automatically be logged into the system, which makes it very easy to sort of track. If you send out a paper mailing, you can do a mail merge and import that VIP number in and be able to actually see who's following up with your emails. So there's a little bit of CRM functionality. So if we wanted to click on this little note tab, we can add a note to user, and that note will be permanently associated with that user record. So if we just click on a user, if these were real users, we would have some additional information. So we can see that this person got sent a test campaign email. They haven't actually visited the site yet. This is the note I just added, and this is some additional detail. We've got an address in there, and we don't have any actions. Whenever a user logs into the site and takes some sort of action, it'll show up here in this Actions tab. So you can, this Details tab under the Actions table, so you'll see what actions, what they've done, whether they've made a purchase, whether they filled out a lead form, whether they subscribed. Every time a user kind of gives you their information, that sets a permanent cookie, so we're able to track them each time they visit the site from then on. You can also log in as this user if you want to see what they see, sort of, and get an idea of how your site looks from that specific user's point of view. Now, one thing that's really important is the ability to create custom user lists. So we're going to just click Create a User List, and let's say we want to make something called Test List. So what we need to do next is create a filter. This filter says, lets us specify exactly who's going to show up in this user list, and there's a whole bunch of different filtering criteria we can filter on. Since we've got the email module activated, we can filter on whether they've been sent a specific email campaign. We can filter on a specific tag. So in this case, let's filter on the fact that they have the test list tag. And let's say we want to also make sure that that they don't have the exception tag. So we just say not show me accounts with the exception tag. So this will show us everyone who has the test list tag, but then does not have the exception tag. Sort of each line of the filter sort of filters further down the list. So we can create this filter and then click on the user, and you'll see we've only got these 2 users. If we look at everyone, you'll see that that's only because we only have 2 users with test lists that don't have exception. So those are filtered user lists, but we can also create custom user lists. So if we just click highlight some users and we type in a name, custom list, only those 4 users will get added to that list. We're going to have to reload the page, but then we can go to that custom list. So we can manually remove users from this custom list by just highlighting them and clicking remove users. So we've got some additional functionality that's available by clicking on this More tab. We've got a full import feature, so you can import a whole bunch of different users in the system based on a whole bunch of different fields. You can also download the current list. Whatever list you're looking at, it'll generate a CSV file for you to download. You can also see a list of all the tags and add descriptions onto those tags, as well as go to a list that actually shows all the user lists that have been defined. All right, well, that sort of covers the people section.